Alors, bonsoir tout le monde. Bienvenue à
Good evening and welcome to this meeting of the Dieppe City Council this February 10th, 2025. We will start right away with the recognition of the traditional ancestral territory. The city of Dieppe recognizes that the land on which it operates is part of the traditional ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq. Let's continue on then with the introduction. Dear colleagues, let's have the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you to all. We do have quorum this evening. The mayor has no announcements, so let us call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Yes, it has been confirmed. Any declarations of conflict of interest? Does anybody have a conflict of interest on today's agenda? No? Let's move on then to the adoption of the agenda. Please, a resolution by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Leboutier. Ready for the question? All those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. We have been called to order. Let's start the meeting then with presentations, inquiries, and petitions. I don't think there's anything too specific except the presence of the RCMP. Ms. Hébert will be presenting to us this evening as soon as I find it. Good evening and welcome. Good evening, Your Worship, council members, staff, and members of the public. I'd like to follow up with Mr. Thibodeau because there was a patrol to continue on the Lakeburn area, and we're going to analyze the traffic and I hope we have a response within 2 weeks. Now, in terms of community police, the Kodiak RCMP is inviting you to its 7th edition of a community cafe, an event which is a great opportunity for us to strengthen our relationship with the community, to have open dialogue, and to promote positive relationships with the people we serve. This cafe will be held on February 27th between 1 and 5 p.m. at the Second Cup in Moncton, 15 Gorge Road. The Community Police Unit continues to meet your bylaw officer twice a week. And since the YMCA IRAP intervention, there was an individual who was hanging around the AW in Dieppe, is no longer causing any complaints. No, that person has been relocated and is no longer violating any of your bylaws. Now, in terms of the General Investigation Unit, they were very busy in the last few months with some trials. Sentences were handed down in the last few weeks. The first case in June 2024, there was an assault, bodily assault, that was reported to the RCMP because of the major wounds caused. There was an investigation, and Tyler Ferron pleaded guilty to 6 charges against him in January. These charges were against theft with violence, threat of kidnapping, assault, and bodily harm. This person received a prison sentence of 4 years. And another file that you might remember, in January 2021, an employee of Riverview High School was hurt by a bullet on the schoolyard, and Jensen Baker was pleaded guilty to have illegally discharged an arm with the intention of hurting or killing somebody. As well, this person had a firearm while it was prohibited under an order under Section 109 of the Criminal Code. He was handed down a 10-year sentence with another 8 years that he has been that was handed down since 2023. A 43-year-old pleaded guilty to charges of sexual assault with a child of under 16 years. This person received a prison terms of 3.5 years and will be registered on the National Registry of Sexual Delinquents for 20 years. And their 3-week trial started in January in relationship with sexual assault committed against children between 1968 and up to 2002. Père Maillet, now 78 years old, was a teacher who had access to young children at the time. The investigation started in 2022 and required a number of staff members to bring it to term. He was found guilty of 17 charges at the end of January. He was remanded immediately and will appear on March 19th for his sentencing. Now, in terms of the patrol unit, on January 30th, a residence in Grande Vallée in Dieppe, there was a break and enter, and the case is still under investigation. When residents leave their home for a period of time, please put timers on, light with timers. Yeah, timers. I wasn't even sure how to say it in French myself, so a timer. Put a timer on to turn lights on at different times of the day and night. We advise you to put monitoring cameras that seem to prevent certain crimes. On January 21st, a residence on Samuel Street was the victim of a B&E, and 2 individuals dressed in black tried to break a window and enter the house when the residents were inside. They chased the suspect away. The dog handler the police came with their dog handler, but they weren't able to find the guilty party. There were 4 vehicle thefts in Dieppe between January 28th and February 6th, 3 utility vehicles and 1 water. 3 of these vehicles were found. 2 of them the owners weren't sure if the keys had been left in the car. The other 2, yes, the keys were in the car. And in one of the case, the car was running. So if your car, the engine is running, just don't leave it alone, please. And between January 19th and February 6th, 27 warnings were handed out in the Dieppe area. And that's all for me this evening. Questions from council? No questions? Thank you for being here this evening. We appreciate it, and we recognize that a lot of work is being done and has been done. And of course, we can count on you. Thank you. Questions by members of the public? No questions from the great numbers of public members here this evening. So let's continue on then.
Pas de personne dans la salle. Alors on va
Nobody in the room, so let's continue on with the adoption of minutes. And these are the minutes of the regular council meeting of January 27th, 2025. Who would like to move it? Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Jeannet on the question. No questions. All those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying yes. If not, contrary-minded, nay. So the meeting of January 7th is 11.1 motions. 11 is motions and nominations. 11.1 consulting services records management agreement. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Okay, you have a contract award here for the record manage agreement that we recommend goes to Sébastien Landry at the cost of $55,000 plus HST for the year underway, and we recognize and we there's the possibility of renewing for an extra year. This is somebody would like to move it? So it's been moved and seconded on the question. Councillor Leboutier.
Merci, Monsieur le Maire. Que le Conseil accepte l'entente de gestion documentaire.
Council accept the record management agreement between the City of Dieppe and consultant Sébastien Landry at the cost of $55,000 plus HST plus travel expenses with an annual renewal option, and authorize this expenditure be defrayed from account number 1-2-20-12-2590, General Operating Budget, General Administration, Other. And I so move. So it's been moved by Councillor Leboutier, seconded by Councillor Brideau. On the question, I don't see any questions. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. It's carried as presented. Let's move on to 11.2, appointments rather. Yes, there was a vacant position on the Planning Advisory Committee. So it is recommended that we appoint Rabab Bahamim for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2027. And this is for your approval this evening to confirm his participation on the PAC. Thank you. Who would like to read the resolution? Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council appoint Rabab Bahami on the Planning Advisory Committee for a term ending on December 31st, 2027, and I so move. Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Jeannet on the question. Councillor Turgeon-Roy. Thank you, Your Worship. I didn't see it in the description. Is this a person who can work in both languages? Yes, he is a francophone. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. No, this is a francophone. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? If not, all those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. It's carried as presented, and we'd like to thank him for the work that he is about to embark upon. Which brings us to 11.3, operations. Yes, so with the Acadie Games that are going to be held here in June 2025, we have to plan our facilities to make sure that we meet certain standards for this event. And so this is a resolution to allow Praytech Enterprises to undertake the repairs at the track and field trail field at the behind Anna L'Enfant School, and this is for $80,490 plus HST that would start this spring. Thank you. Who would like to read the resolution? Councillor Brideau. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council authorized Playtech Enterprises, Inc. to undertake the Anna Malenfant track and field repair work at the cost of $80,490 plus HST, and further authorize this expenditure be defrayed from account number 1-2-70-80-3000, General Operating Budget, Sports Fields, Facilities. And I so move it. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Brideau, seconded by Councillor Turgeon-Roy on the question. I don't see any questions, so all those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. It's carried as presented. Next item, 11.3.2. So this is with all the this is to the for road marking, lane marking paint. That would be start in the spring, and this is to authorize the purchase from Equipment Stinson at the cost of $68,000 and to plus HST. So this is not. This is a. This indicates usually it's $50,000, but this indicates the increase in the kilometers that we have to prepare in Dieppe. So this is a fairly specialized type of this business is specialized in the type of product that we need for our roads. And so I think, yeah, and then we're going to be reviewing the bylaw afterwards. So who would like to read the resolution? Councillor Turgeon-Roy. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council authorized the purchase of lane marking paint for the Operations Department from Equipment Stinson Inc. at the cost of $68,833.64 plus HST, and further authorize this expenditure be defrayed from account number 1-2-35-63-2665, General Operating Budget, Lane Marking. And I so move it, Your Worship. Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Turgeon-Roy and seconded by Councillor Janin. On the question, there are none. All those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. And it is carried as presented.
11.3.3 achat de camions
11.3.3, purchase of a combination sewer cleaner truck. That's right. So in our municipal vehicle fleet, we're replacing a vehicle. Following a tender call, we received several offers, and we are giving the tender to Saunders Equipment Limited at the cost of $782,950 plus HST under water and sewer capital budget for this combination truck. It's the recommendation following of the of staff. Thank you. To read the resolution, Councillor Janin. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council award the tender for the purchase of a combination sewer cleaner truck 2025 Volvo Aquatech model for the Operations Department to Saunders Equipment Limited at the cost of $782,950 plus HST pursuant to its proposal dated December 19, 2024, and authorize this expenditure to be defrayed from account number 4-3-95-12-7901, Water and Sewer Capital Budget, Equipment Purchase, Water and Sewer. I so move. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Janin, seconded by Councillor Bideau on the question. There being none, all those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Against, nay. Resolutions carried as presented. Now, on to municipal bylaws. Bylaw A8, respecting the pension plan for the employees of the City of Dieppe. Yes, staff came in January to give you the amendments that have been put forward. I won't repeat this because we're doing a reading by title and then a summary of bylaw A8. So it's for you to pass and put it into the integrated bylaw. Thank you. To read the resolution, Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. Bylaw A-8, respecting the pension plan for the employees of the City of Dieppe. I move first reading by title alone. I see it's seconded by Councillor Janin. On the question, all those in favor will say aye. Against, nay. So the new bylaw is passed in first reading or second reading by title alone. Bylaw A8, pension plan for the employees of the City of Dieppe. I move the second reading by title alone. Thank you. Moved once again by Councillor Thibodeau and seconded by Councillor Genet. On the question, seeing none, all those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Against, nay. Bylaw A8, 2025 is passed in second reading by title. Item 13, notice of motions. Have we received any? There are no notices of motions this evening. Inquiries and announcements by members of council. Let's begin to my right with Councillor Turgeon-Roy. Thank you, Your Worship. I simply wanted to mention that today we had a great visitor at the City Hall. We welcomed the mission of experts in judo and volleyball who will be spending time here until February 15th. It was an honor, and it's thanks to the cooperation between the province of New Brunswick and the CEUFF, and this means the International Confederation of Francophone Sports Agencies. And so it's an honor. And so we met the professionals, those who have come to spend time in our area and who are accompanying young participants for judo and volleyball activities. So they explained all the things that they had won in their respective sports in volleyball and judo. So it was great to see, along with what's going to be happening in the Jeux de l'Acadie later. There will be some cooperation with the Jeux de l'Acadie this week coming with the person who's responsible for this organization. I simply wanted to mention it because it's great when we can bring people in from other Francophone countries and have people know who we are in our city. His Worship the Mayor and Mark and Ernest were also there with me today. That's it for me. Thank you. Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. I received a complaint concerning a bylaw. On the signage bylaw. So the people who are putting signage inside the windows, but it can be seen from the outside. And I think that we should be amending the bylaw in order to add the definition of signage to include signage which is placed inside a window, which is shown to the exterior. We've noted that, and let's see where it leads us. We'll check to see if we have some authority at that level, but we'll be reviewing this file. I think maybe we have the authority under the bylaw. Well, we'll look at what powers we have under that bylaw. I'll follow that up. Also, I have one more thing. Often, I'm told that there are people who are driving without winter tires and they are in accidents. And so should we not write a letter to the Minister of Public Safety that people, when they're defying the Act, to include this in the Act to require people to put winter tires on? We've noted. And if it's the will of the Council that we undertake such an action, we can prepare a letter. If this is the will of Council, there seems to be a consensus about this. And we'll see where this leads us. Might be a dangerous undertaking. You know, that's why these laws exist elsewhere. It was confirmed to me that this is only a requirement in Quebec. I'm not sure about that. The Minister of Public Safety said this. Well, good. You've already noted this for the file. Well, prepare a letter to this effect. That's it for me, Your Worship. Thank you. Councillor Brideau. Thank you, Your Worship. I'm going to take this opportunity to express my respects following the death of my spouse last December. First of all, I want to say how much I respect my fellow and sister councillors, and you and your wife, and you, Mr. Melançon, and your wife. You know, it was very helpful for me and for my son as well. I also want to express how much I appreciated that my wife's friends and my own friends, all my neighbors who brought food during this very difficult time. And on my behalf, and on behalf of my son, Justin, thank you to all of you who expressed their sympathies. And that's it for me. Thank you. Thank you. That says it all. Thank you. Councillor Genet? Thank you, Your Worship. I don't have anything for tonight. Thank you. Councillor Le Boutillier. Thank you, Your Worship. Your Worship, we have here today a citizen, and I'd like to recognize this person. So on behalf of Council, I would like to take a moment to underline a devoted action which should appreciate. We often say that citizens' engagement is at the heart of the community, and we have a shining example of this generosity here with us. For more than 40 years, after every snowfall, Wilfred Couture, who's here tonight, makes sure that the water fountain where he lives is shoveled out. And so Mr. Couture contributes directly to the protection of his whole neighborhood. So Mr. Couture, on behalf of the Municipal Council and the whole community, I want to express our deep gratitude because your engagement makes Dieppe a great place to live. So I encourage you, I encourage all citizens and even employees of the city and all councillors to follow Mr. Couture's example, to participate in cleaning out the water hydrants, around the water hydrants. And so you have all the information you require to find these hydrants throughout the city. Thank you, Mr. Couture, for all you've done. Thank you.
OK. Merci. Alors,
Thank you.
Quoi dire de plus?
What more
Merci.
can one say?
C'est des choses
Please accept our thanks. These are things which have been around for a long time, but very often people forget to do. And it is to your own merit that you do these things. We're very proud to recognize you this evening. So please come forward. I think we have a photo op.
All good. Faut scraper la photo.
Gotta make it official business.
Here? Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup pour ça. Ah, vous lui avez donné. OK, c'est bien. Merci beaucoup. Thank you. I'm sure you're getting lots of support. Yes, I am. Not yet, no. Should I open it now? Should I open it? Oh, yeah, you can. Alors, c'est si on peut, avec ce geste,
So with this gesture, I encourage all our citizens and members of the media who are here tonight, I hope that you'll talk this up so we can ensure that more people want to take the time that it does take to protect not only their own homes, but the homes of their neighbors. So thank you all once again. And we are adjourned for this evening.
Soirée.
And good